Another Duluthian is entering the race for City Council. This evening, Salaam Witherspoon announced her candidacy to represent District 4. Witherspoon was born and raised in Duluth. She says she spent a year being homeless when one of her children was just an infant. Now she's a community outreach specialist, a homeowner, and a mother of 2 children who attend Duluth public schools. She says if elected, she hopes to help community members understand that elected officials are there to serve the public.
Really teaching folks how to gather and come together, use their voices on one accord. When we're all together, we're stronger and we'll have better outcomes, especially at City Hall.
Witherspoon is running for the seat currently held by Hannah Alstead, who is not seeking re-election. Alstead was appointed to the seat last July to replace Renee Van Nett, who passed away while serving.